Hello and welcome back to Inside Out with Kris. I am bringing you a conversation today, something that has come up in my mind this week. It's like, why would you hire a mentor? Why would you hire a coach? And this has come up because it is such a big industry at the moment, especially in Australia, with coaches and mentors, and the women that I support know that they need one. They know that they want one. And why they plug into me in the first place is really around mindset, limiting beliefs, cultivating a high level version of themselves, right? But what I want to plug into today is sharing why a mentor or coach is fucking so powerful and potent in your world, and how that supports you to transcend all areas of your life when you actually invest long term. So for me, I've had multiple coaches and mentors over the last few years, and every single time it's like the dial gets turned up a notch in terms of what I receive, how I move, the intentionality that comes with having a coach and mentor. And this is for people that are sort of sitting on the fence, I suppose, in terms of, is it worth it? So when we talk about our health, right, we think about gym memberships, PTs, nutrition. We talk about psychologists for our mental health. We invest in, going to the doctors, or maybe going to a naturopath, spending hundreds and hundreds of, sometimes thousands of dollars when you see a naturopath, right? That's something that I've invested into in my life. And noticing that when it comes to our mental health, or simply just bettering ourselves emotionally and building that ability to have total radical responsibility of self, total internal awareness and emotional intelligence, that sometimes we feel like we have to, prolong it, or it's not worth the investment, right? And what I want to drop in and say is, firstly, it is 110% worth the investment. And something that comes up for a lot of my clients, in particular my long-term clients, is new level, new devil. Now, what that means is, yes, you can go and fucking clear the big limiting beliefs around shame, guilt, sadness, fear. You can go and clean out fear of judgment. You can go and clear out all of those big major things that have happened in your life. Heal your trauma, heal your wounds, right? Heal that inner child, but new level, new devil. So there's always going to be room for more. In my opinion, and in my personal opinion, it doesn't matter how high I get in terms of healing in my journey, or it doesn't matter how many boundaries I transcend, or what areas of my life is amplified in terms of being an unlimited high level version of myself, right? It's the parts where you can continue to turn the freaking dial up. You can continue to build on that intentionality. You can continue to build on your communication skills, your emotional intelligence, your self-love, the ebbs and flows of life, right? When we're talking about the day-to-day stuff, like most recently for me, I've turned the dial up on my health, and I've set myself a couple of little micro habits and goals so that I have that level of intentionality around my health, physical health goals. Yeah. So sometimes ebbs and flows, you go up, you go down. Like motivation isn't here to stay. Motivation comes and goes. This is about being committed to yourself and committed to your goals, and that ripple impact that it has when you're constantly learning, growing, evolving, amplifying all the best parts of yourself, right? And meeting yourself in the highest possible fucking version. When you continue to be on that journey and you choose to continue to invest on that journey, which looks like hiring a mentor or coach, you flourish, you thrive, you have a ripple impact to your parenting experience. There's ripple impact to your relationship, to your partnership, de facto partnership, that is, your friendships, your standard of yourself. It continues to build and grow and evolve until you are sitting so high in who you are, until you are sitting with so much internal knowing of confidence, congruence, and clarity with who the fuck you are and what you want to do, that, yeah, having someone to bounce off, having that person that is 110% in your corner, that's got you, that knows where you can turn that dial up, that knows where you can have more accountability, that pushes you with thought-provoking coaching and mentoring sort of experiences in the sessions, that is able to just go all in on you when you're not all in on you, because ebbs and flows of life, like things happen. Let's say you potentially have a disagreement with your partner and he hits some fucking wounds, right? He hits some triggers and you don't respond as your best self. You have a coach to then say, hey, this happened and how can I be better, right? You can always apply your new learnings. You can always be just topping what you already do, what you already know, if you choose to invest in having a coach or mentor. Because that person, if that person is like myself, we've got you. We want you to thrive. We also want you to see your wounds. We also want to show you your shadows, right? We want you to see those blind spots. And that's our job, to pull them forward and make shit happen in that regard. I can see the parts of you that you don't want to see. I can see your ego and that concept of self, the version of you that you hold yourself back from actually seeing because it's unconscious. I want to draw that unconscious forward. I want you to know that you can have the life that you actually fucking want and desire. And you can continue to have more and more and more and more, because new level, new devil, and you get to have it all if you want it all, if you decide you want it all, right? And if you decide to change that narrative and take a step back. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago in a podcast episode, one of my clients, she's just, gone and done the whole, I own a business and I'm an entrepreneur and I can build a business. And she's realized, I don't really want that anymore. And I'm holding her to that standard of herself, that new version of her, right? I'm holding her in that you can decide that. You can actually have whatever the fuck you want, but you need to decide what it is that you want and stop living in and I suppose the shadow of other people's needs and desires and wants. Also in that comparisonitis around judgment with what other women are doing, how they're chasing their goals, right? The online space is huge right now. The coaching space is huge right now. And I'm seeing so many coaches simply copy, paste, but are they being authentic? Are they living in alignment with who they are and what they want? Or are they becoming a coach because they think that they should, because they think it's easy money, because there's no authenticity with what they actually want. There's no, this is my deep desire to support women until the end. There's just, this is what other people are doing. And I think that I could be successful if I did achieve this, right? So noticing that as a coach, that's the standard I would fucking hold to the women that I work with and the coaches that I work with. And noticing that I personally will always invest in a coach or mentor. I have worked with so many different psychologists, counselors, I think social workers, teachers, aides as I was growing up, and the things that had impacted me. And no one, and I don't believe that this is because they were incapable. I believe that these certain people were governed by a particular body and could only do so much with the knowledge and information they had. But no one did what my coaches and my mentors have done for me. No one has been able to draw out my blind spots, call me on my shadows, call me on my shit, keep me accountable, push me to my fucking limits, and then show me that I have no limits. That's what a coach and mentor does. And that is why the investment is so much more than simply, I'm going to fix a limiting belief. You can do that, great. If that's what you got plugging into my world for, that's perfect. We do that. And my intention with working with the women I work with, and I say this on the first call, so if you're watching this and you're my client, you know this, my goal is to get you to a point where you no longer want or need me. My goal is to get you to a point where you're like, I fucking love every area of my life and I'm stoked. And if you get to that point and you're like, hey, I kind of see the value in having you in my corner, I kind of see the value in having a coach in my space, having that person to bounce off, having that person that isn't my friend, isn't my partner, isn't my mom, and you're there to have and bring your value and your ability to call me on my shit. Those are the women that have invested long term with me. And that's the vibe that it gets to be at when you decide that you actually choose to be in the space and the realm of being mentored by someone and coached by someone. And new level, new devil, like I'll continue to raise you up as more each time you evolve and each time that you grow yourself. So if you're sitting on the fence about getting in the space and working with someone, like, let this be your message. You can stay where you are, right? You can stay exactly where you are and keep living the life you're living. And that might be satisfactory for you. That might be fine. But I'm wondering what's on the other side of fine. What's on the other side of, yeah, I'm good today. What if you were great? What if everything was fucking amazing? What if you woke up every day and was like, God, my relationship is incredible. I'm so grateful for it. Instead of, another day. We're going back to the drawing board today. We're doing the 9 to 5. Like, we're not thriving. We're simply freaking surviving. Like, what if you didn't have to feel that? I'm wondering what life would look like for you. And on that note, I will love you and leave you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you are looking at getting coaching and mentoring and you have been sitting on the fence, jump in, plug in, make an inquiry, book a phone call with me. I am here and ready to boldly lead you to exactly where you fucking want to be. Whether that's short term or long term, just know you have the ability to make the changes you want to make. And sometimes it just means you need someone to call you on your shit, pull you out of those shadows, right? And keep you accountable to who it is that you actually want to be. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you hit like on YouTube and subscribe. If you are listening in on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, hit follow.